Hello again everyone, this is episode 2 of Prison Architect with Spaghettikid, me, and I've just been playing for 20 minutes-ish, and I've built some staff room over here, some staff rooms. I haven't finished them yet, but I've just been putting them down just so things are marked out. I've also marked out in planning across sections, just so things are going to be laid out neatly and it's going to look nice once this is all finished. Okay. So this episode, hopefully, I'll finish off the staff rooms, get a couple of people like wardens in. I'm also going to build a bit more of the cell blocks, so I'm going to put these walls inside them in. I'm also going to install some of the services, so I'm going to put electricity in. And that's hopefully all going to be achieved this episode. It might be quite optimistic, but hopefully it should all be getting done. Okay. So I'm just going to be going into materials and walls, and I'm just going to finish walls off because I have a lot of walls that need to be built. So I'm just going to put these ones in, and make sure you first put these doors in, which I did last episode, but if you don't and you put a wall here, then if you want to build a wall inside this room, because there wouldn't be doors here if you haven't put them in, you're then creating a job that no one can do, which means you then have to knock a wall down just so someone can get in, which is a bit silly. Okay, so now I'm just going to put in these walls, and this is one of the things that's really tedious because you just have to just make sure you're doing everything right and putting them in the right places. It's very simple to kind of put them in the wrong place, but it's just get them done. This is some of the boring bits, but hopefully that wasn't too long. Okay, so I think that's everything. Oh, no, I haven't done these ones. Okay, so that's all of them. So now all these builders should all be building stuff. And I'm just going to designate some of these areas. So I'm going to go to rooms, and it's selected some of the things it wants me to see. You'll notice these little white borders around things in the game, in these menus. So in objects you'll see there's none at the moment, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and get a shower, and this is going to be where my shower block is, or my shower room. So I'll put showers down in here, and then if I go back to objects, you'll notice two things are highlighted. Because I'm looking at this shower block, it's selecting the items that I might want to use. So because I've just got a shower block in the area, it says you might want a drain, which I do. I'm going to want to put a drain at the top and bottom of the shower block. What this means is that there won't be any electricity flying out of my... There won't be any water that is coming out of the shower rooms. So I won't be flooding my cell blocks, which is a problem if you... Sorry, it will be a problem if you have... Oh, I forgot what they're called. The metal detectors, because if their water gets to the metal detector, it will explode and can damage people around it, which obviously isn't good. So I'm just going to put these drains in, then go to objects again. The other thing highlighted is shower head. So I'm just going to put 1, 2, 3, 4 there. Press R to rotate them, and put one on this end and one on that end. So now I have 10 cell blocks and 10, and I've then got... Actually, I've got 9. But what I'm going to do is put a brick wall in here and here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, that's fine. I'm just going to change something that I've just realised I've done wrong. This is where I start getting into my kind of OCD. I'm just thinking ahead. If I have these walls at the bottom, I want to have a metal detector, and my metal detector will be here. And if I've got a metal detector here, but the entrances were here, it wouldn't necessarily work properly, because not everyone will be walking through. So I'm just going to change this round a bit. So it's going to be like this. And this is just me being awkward. So don't feel you have to do this. I'm just doing this because this is how I'm going to do things, or how I do things. Sorry. So I'm just going to finish putting some more shower heads on. So this is actually too many shower heads. So we've now got 8, 8. I'm not really sure what that shower head's doing. Kind of floating. Never mind. So we've got 8, 9, 10, 11. So we actually have too many shower heads, but it doesn't really matter. Not everyone ends up having showers anyway, so I may just get rid of these ones, which I will do actually because it looks a bit silly. So I'm just going to demolish the walls as well and get rid of these two. Okay, so I'm now going to want to build these as cells, but before I do that I'm going to go to rooms, build an office here, and I'm also going to go to planning and get rid of these bits because they're a bit annoying. And I'm going to go to materials. I'm going to show you a little thing that I notice, which is if you look at this doorway, there is concrete floor, which is this one, which is the same material as that. But here there is something else, which I'm not really sure what material it is, but it doesn't look very nice. And this happens when you demolish a wall that was built from foundations. So sometimes I just have a look around because it doesn't look very nice when you've got like random materials all over the place. So if you choose nice materials, so you have wooden floors and things like that in staff areas, it looks a lot nicer. Okay, so now I'm going to be getting the first member of staff, which is the warden. I'm going to plonk him in here and quickly put in some things he needs. So because this is an office, it says I need staff door, which I've already got, chair, filing cabinet, and office desk. So I'm just going to put the desk here and chairs there, and they will then get put in. Not really sure why. Oh, these are lights. Okay, so I'm going to want to put my utilities down. So I'm just going to go to, not planning, where am I going? Utilities, sorry. But before I go into that, I'm going to look at where these things are, and I'm going to put them just above it. So what I usually do is line the bottom of the screen up with where they are, and then I know where I'm going to be putting them. So I'm just going to put a power station here, and then I'll go out of this, and I'll do the same with the top of the screen. So I'll line up the top of the screen, and then go to oh, I moved. Line at the top of the screen, go to utilities, and get a water station, and then I'm going to go one block away from the top here. Ooh, and then actually put it down. Yep, so they're right. And I've left like a 1 block perimeter around them. It doesn't matter for the water pump, but for your power station, eventually you're going to want to put capacitors around, and I am actually going to put 3 of them, just because that will give me a boost for the moment, because I may end up using all of the power quite quickly to power these bigger buildings, because they're quite large. So I'm also then going to want to plug everything in. So the the water pump station needs electricity. I'm then also going to have a giant electric cable going down and into the staff rooms. I'm also going to want to have electricity going into these buildings. And that's all for the moment. However, I obviously need water. So I'm going to get a water pipe over the electricity pipe, just because you can. Don't think you have to have them separate. And I'm going to have a large pipe going all the way down to the bottom of the cell block. And then I'm going to be having, I don't need that one actually, small pipes going from here. And at the moment this seems silly, but this is because I will have toilets on these. So I'm just setting the plumbing up for the toilets. So just put in the pipes ready for all of these shower heads, and hopefully they'll all get plugged in and everything will be powered okay. So things are starting to come together. We haven't had as much progress as like people sometimes think you need to make really quick progress. However, planning like this will mean in the long run your prison will be better and more efficient. So instead of people or prisoners having to run from a canteen all the way over here to cell blocks right at the front, I'm going to have a canteen probably here with a kitchen at the front, just because you don't want to have to waste time. So in your regime, if you've got people having to run all the way across, it may take half an hour. So if then they have got a shower block one end and a canteen the other, yes, you may have 1 hour for eating and 1 hour for showering or whatever, but if they're going to be using this for walking, they're not going to have the full hour to eat food, so people may not eat, and then you'll end up with rioting and lots of problems like that. Sorry about that, just got a small cough. Okay. I think I'm just going to go and re-put down this shower block because these two foundations seem to have been demolished. I'm also going to go to objects and get a couple of things. Now what I really recommend doing is getting a metal detector and putting it at your entrance. So you can rotate it and you can have it so it's touching your entrance, and what this means is that anyone that comes in your prison will be scanned by a metal detector, which means you will get a lot of people that will be trying to smuggle in. So a lot of prisoners will attempt to smuggle in a knife or some luxury or all the different types of contraband. However, they won't be able to, because as soon as they come in, metal detector will just find it. So it reduces the risk of a lot of contraband in your prison. Also, because I have this warden, I'm going to start with the first. I'm going to start doing some of this. So I'm going to get finance first, and then I will probably get security and then maintenance. But I'm not going to have them yet because I don't need them, and I don't want to waste money that I might end up needing. Okay, so we have a cell block and we have an office. We don't need any more offices quite yet. And we've now got electricity and water. So if you go to utilities, you can see we've got the water coming down. It's almost completely finished, so we won't do that yet. But I haven't finished this cell block, so I'm just going to go and get beds. And you'll notice if I go to cell and put one of these as cell, what a lot of people will do is this, which now seems to be working actually, but it didn't before. Okay, maybe they have fixed it. It used to be if you dragged a thing like that, it would all become one cell. So it would just say cell down the side rather than being individual cells. So we'll see if this works. It may not. It may cause a problem. You'll see this guy's bugged out. So we're just going to do that right-clicking trick. So you'll see people like to get a bit stuck, and all you have to do is that. Just click on them and then right click them. People often get confused if they have to build something that's maybe under a wall. So you see in utilities we've built these pipes under the walls. Sometimes it confuses people quite a lot. Okay, so I'm also going to go to objects, and something else I put down earlier was a metal detector. So I'm just going to get another metal detector and put one in this cell block. And what this means is that then everyone coming in and out of this cell block will be scanned by the metal detector. Metal detectors are vital if you want to have a really successful prison, because otherwise you'll end up with people stealing spoons from canteens and digging holes, and effectively by having this means no one will be able to smuggle anything anywhere without being found. So It does require a lot of electricity, having a lot of these, having a lot of metal detectors, but it's worth it. I'm also going to get light and put a light in here. I'm actually going to put 2 lights in here. And I'm then going to put light and a light. You don't need that many. A lot of people think you need lights all over the place in your prison, but as long as you can see, it's fine. You don't need to have them all over the place. So don't worry about having one in every single cell. Maybe if it doesn't look right, you can then put 1 or 2 all over the place. But light does travel through walls, so you can see just 1 or 2 lights has lit up the whole thing. So you don't need to have hundreds of lights all over the place like it does normally. So it would usually put 1 every 4 blocks in a grid pattern, but you don't need them. You literally don't. So you can just spread them out wherever you need them. So we've got this metal detector in, which is wonky, but never mind. And now we've got the cells placed down, we can then finish the cells. So we can click this minus button. The plus button shows you all items, so you can see everything that you need to. Click the minus, so it then is a plus. It will reduce this menu just so it shows you what you need. So you can see, if I move away from that cell, it deselects things. If I then move back towards it, it highlights everything I might need, so bookshelves, jail doors, beds, and toilets. If I then go up, because the shower is there, it then goes shower head and drain. So, what I'm going to do is, because I'm building cells, I'll look at what I need. So it says bookshelf, jail door, if I go away from the shower, toilet, bed. So I'm going to put toilets in, and if you look at where my things were, I need to put toilets at the top. So I'm going to go and get toilets. And 1, 2, 3, 4, doo-dee-doo. And I'm just going to shove them all in, so we've got them all over the place. Okay, so another thing I will need, but I'll put them in last, is jail doors. Generally people like to get stuck in jail doors. But I'm going to get beds, and put beds all down this side. And down this side. So I am doing a very symmetrical pattern, and I'm building the cells the smallest size you can get away with. So a cell needs to be, as you can see, 2 by 3 or 3 by 2. It needs to be enclosed by walls and doors, which I haven't got yet because I haven't. It doesn't say it requires a bookshelf, but if you do put bookshelves in, it's really good, because instead of having to go to a common room to read a book, you can just put bookshelves in their rooms, and they'll absolutely love it because they can just read in their rooms. So it's, if you think about a bedroom, quite a few people have a bookshelf in their bedroom. So it makes sense that prisoners may want to have books. So it simplifies their lives. So in free time, instead of them going all the way to a common room, they can just read a book. It does, however, cost a little bit more, but think of it as an investment as to making a better prison. So gradually all the beds being put in, and then once all the things are in the cells, we will then put in our cell doors. So you need to have a cell. Sorry, you don't need to, but jail doors are vital if you want to have anything like lockdown, because if you have any other doors, it means prisoners will just be able to walk through it when they want to. Cell doors will be open throughout the day and locked at night, which means prisoners won't be able to randomly wander out of your prison. Okay, so this is sped up as much as I can. So you'll notice a lot of things in storage and deliveries, but this is why I said we didn't need much garbage. You generally only have a couple of bags of garbage at a time, so you don't need to have a giant garbage area. So just have deliveries and a big storage area, because you'll end up having a lot of built up lights. I'm also going to go to sell object and just sell a couple of these logs. Make sure there's none hiding. And there you go, we got a couple of $100 again. Okay, so I'm just going to plan out. I'm probably not going to build, I may put the foundations down, but I'm going to want to plan out a couple of other things. So if you look at this list, I need a holding cell, a yard, kitchen, canteen, guards, chefs. So I don't need to build guards and chefs, but they're going to be things I need. So I'm going to need a holding cell, yard, kitchen, canteen. A holding cell is something I actually never usually have. Sometimes I will, because if you then want to take a couple of extra prisoners in, you can cope with it, but it's very inefficient to have holding cells for prisoners, because prisoners hate holding cells. They don't have things they need, so they will end up getting very angry at not being able to have beds and things like that. So unless you're planning on having beds, in which case build a cell, because then they've got their own cell. But just for this, I will put down a holding cell. So I'm probably going to have a couple of buildings right at the front. I'll have visitation, and I'll have a holding cell. So I'm just going to go to planning, and plan a building, and that should be big enough. And again, make it symmetrical, just because I'm weird and like symmetrical things. And then I'm going to build a similar sized thing over here. And I'll put it down that big for the moment, but I probably will change this in a second. Making sure it's actually the right size. Now, what I'm going to want to do with this, if I'm just going to think about this for a bit, I'm going to want to have a canteen. However, I don't want to make everyone have to walk all the way around it, so I'm going to divide it down the middle. And I'm probably going to build one canteen for the moment, and then I may save this for something else in the future. And then I'm going to divide this into a kitchen. So I'm going to want to have some ovens and things down this side, and then some other things down this side. So I'm going to want it effectively 3 blocks wide as a canteen, and then I'll have a staff door. And then I'll also have probably another staff door centralish. And also I'm just going to change things just so it is slightly more symmetrical, because symmetrical makes sense in my brain. It doesn't matter if you don't, because it doesn't, but my brain likes things being symmetrical, because I suppose it's a type of OCD thing to have everything laid out neatly. But that to me makes sense. So this was actually 11 by 35. Okay, so I've got not very much kitchen space, but I've got a lot of space for prisoners. And 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm just going to check that's the right length. Yes, it is. Okay, so what I've done is now made it so I can have benches here and tables next to them, so I can then fit effectively the maximum amount of prisoners in here. However, I will want to have I've completely forgot what they're called. I will want to have the areas that require, sorry, I've forgot what I'm saying. The serving table things. Wherever the serving table things are. I don't know where they are. Well, never mind. Yeah, the serving tables. Here they are. And these are 5 blocks long, so I think what I'm going to have is I'll probably have them in the middle, because people do walk through tables. So I should be okay, unless I might actually have them this end. So I'll probably have one here, and one here, and one here, and one here. Then I'll just have tables beyond that, because this is a very large area. Oh, I think I just demolished that foundation actually. That was silly. Yeah, so I think I may have just caused a bit of a problem, but hopefully this foundation will be put in, and hopefully I haven't screwed this all up. I'm going to go to staff door. Please don't mess up. I'm also going to quickly plonk down these 2 foundations here. And I think this may end up being a workshop, but I may change the sizing of it eventually. But for the moment, I don't need that at the moment, so we'll leave that. So we seem to have screwed up these foundations a bit. So I'm just going to go to foundations, and this is usually fixes things. There you go. Okay, so that fixed it. So then, now I've got this door in, I can then put the brick walls. I'm going to put walls down here and here. Now, the lights I'm actually going to leave for this because they are fairly symmetrical and it works okay like this. So I'm not going to fiddle around with the lights. But I'm just going to assign those rooms. So I'm going to have the canteen. Sorry, no, wrong thing. Canteen's going to be here. And the kitchen is going to be here. Now it does look like it's going to be absolutely huge because it will be for the moment. It doesn't matter that it's huge. I'm just going to put another staff door here. And democracy. We've unlocked finance, so I'm just going to go security and maintenance, and they will then both start being put in place. I'll quickly make sure the utilities are all set up okay. So we actually need to do this really, and this. We will need electricity around here, so I'm just going to put electricity around there, and I'll also put small pipes around here, because we will have things like sinks which will probably need water supplies, so we'll put the utilities in just so it's ready, and hopefully that's lit everything up. No, it hasn't. Okay, I'll just put a cable in across here then. It's a little bit bigger than I need, but never mind. Cables generally have quite a big reach, so we can work it out actually if we go to utilities. It's reaching like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, I don't know, about 12, 14 blocks probably. So yeah, it's now got enough to power our lights. Okay, I think I'm going to end here, and hopefully see you in another episode. So we've made a little bit more progress now, not too much more, but we've planned out quite a bit more, and finished the cell blocks. So these now need the doors. So I'll just plonk the doors in while saying bye. So thank you for watching. I hope you had a nice time watching this. If you've got any comments, please leave me comments. It's always nice to hear feedback, negative or positive, but don't be silly. And feel free to give me suggestions as to what you think I should be building, or anything you would do differently. Just let me know how you would do things, or link me to anything if you want to show me a picture of your prison. So I hope you had a nice time watching this, and I'll hopefully see you in another episode. So see you then, and have a nice day. Bye.